Yo, what's up? Today we're talking about covert narcissist and why it is the worst kind of narcissism. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor, and this channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification button because I'm dropping video every day. All right, covert narcissist. Why it's the worst kind of narcissism. And now, in this video, I'm going to go into all the details of the covert narcissist. I got played by a covert narcissist. I did a video on my girlfriend as a covert narcissist. You might want to check that out. But I'll go specifically into the personality traits and how I got pulled into this. All right. So why it's the worst kind of narcissism? Because it's so sneaky and so smooth and gradual over time. And it's wow, like I was shocked. So these women typically are shy, they're typically more introverted. And right away, when you think of narcissists, you think of people that are not introverted. You think of them as extroverted, like they need to have all this attention on themselves, which is typically true. The covert narcissist is the opposite in the sense of they are usually shy and introverted. Okay. The other thing, so the next thing about the covert narcissist and narcissists in general is when they start this, when they really like someone at the beginning, like in a dating situation, oh, they will love bomb you. And I did a video on why um, men's biggest what's men's biggest kryptonite, and you don't have to watch the video, but you can if you want, and it's love bombing. I mean, us guys, we get sucked into that so damn easily, man. And these women that are masters at manipulation, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to love bomb you. So whether you go to a strip club, right, and the really good strippers, they come over, they start touching your arm, they say, oh, you're handsome, even though maybe you're ugly as fuck and you're overweight. It feels good, doesn't it? Right? Right? Oh, you don't look your age. You know, and they're touching you, they're complimenting you. Who can't fucking fall for that? It feels good. You feel desired. You feel wanted. Or I've been to Vegas many times, and you're sitting at a bar, and a gorgeous woman comes over to you, starts complimenting you. Next thing you know, you're buying her a drink, and next thing you know, not happened to me, but next thing you know, you're at a hotel room. You've just spent $500 for the hour. That has not happened to me. I'm not into escorts, but that's typically how they work. They love bomb you. So these covert narcissists, they do the same thing. Shy, introverted, they seem all cute and innocent. And then they love bomb you. They shower you with compliments. This particular girl, we had sex on the first date, and we were just like rabbits. We, she was coming over on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and texting me, sending me pictures, little naughty pictures, little naughty videos, saying how she misses me and she wants me. I was like, oh my god! And I mean, man, we just fall for that, right? So this is the thing. So that, in a way, is a bit of a red flag. I would treat it as a yellow flag. Like, is this going to last, right? Here's the red flag. She has trauma. All narcissists have experienced extreme trauma to different, like the trauma depends on what it is. Extreme trauma in their childhood. Whether it's neglect, whether it's emotional abuse, sexual abuse, it's trauma in their childhood. So just remember that. That's what shapes their personality disorder. So they will share their trauma with you. Then you naturally, because this is a human instinct thing, we want to reciprocate. So what we will do naturally as men is we will share some of our traumas. I mean, we've all had traumas to different degrees, right? Well, these sneaky, covert narcissists will eventually use that against you. So, for example, let's say you tell them that you have abandonment issues, and later on in the relationship, in the dating, so after a few months, they will take longer to text you back because they fucking know. They know that's what's going to get you triggered and that's what's going to get you hooked. They will use your trauma to keep you there because at the end of the day, human psychology, we are drawn to some of the things that trigger our trauma. It seems really fucked up, but it is true. So if, all right, I'll share this. I was in a sexless marriage, and I'm now aware that if I'm dating someone, yes, I'll get triggered if that person rejects me. But I'm also aware that I don't want to be in a situation where now I'm chasing them for sex because that's exactly what I did before. So, you know what I mean, guys? So, I have to be careful with not getting myself into this same pattern that I got myself into before. It's so fucked up. Like it's like we are drawn to the trauma that we want to avoid. It's really strange. So, she will use the trauma that you've gone through against you. She will start, this happened with this girl. She started rejecting me. She, I don't have abandonment issues, but I did tell her that not trauma, but I told her that, I don't really appreciate it when women take forever to get back to me, like over a day. Started doing that. And so they feed off of your trauma and use it against you and use it to keep you hooked, if that makes sense. So the other thing to keep in mind with covert narcissists is that, so I have to explain this. So all of us on the normal scale, right? We have a line that we will not cross typically in a moral, ethical situation. So for example, if somebody is mean to you, we're not going to hit them right below the belt and say, well, you're just a drug addict. Like, we have a line that we just won't cross out of respect for the person. Even though that person is nasty, we wouldn't want it done to ourselves. So, or, well, you wouldn't be in this situation if you were better with your finances. That kind of underhanded, fucking below the belt stuff. We just typically, most people don't do that. Like, typically. And so the thing with the covert narcissists or just narcissists in general, they have no line. It is weird. It's like fucking out of the blue. They will just hit you right under the belt. And here is I'm going to share this, man. I'm a little vulnerable right now, but I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I want you guys, when you're watching my videos, to see I'm being authentic and genuine myself, right? So I will take this full accountability. In my marriage, I was married for 20 years. I've now been single and dating for 2 years, and I've dated hundreds of women. So that's why I wanted to create this channel. But during my marriage, I realized I was a little bitch. Right. Yep. The Silver Bachelor at one point was a little bitch and a simp. And I was a fucking doormat to my ex-wife. That's why I left her, and I had to rebuild myself. So when I was dating this covert narcissist, at one point, I felt vulnerable and I wanted to share these things with her. And in terms of using trauma against you, this is what I'm going to say. So at one point, I told her and I said, look, I've come a long way. I've really worked on myself, but in my marriage, I was a little bitch. Well, guess what? At the very end, when it all blew up and I ended it with her, guess what she called me? Right. She texted me and said it to my face because I went to her door and she said, oh, you're just a little bitch. And I know she did that purposely to try and hit me where it hurts the most, tapping into my trauma. Say trauma, I'm being a little dramatic, but it's entertaining. And that's what I mean, guys. They will tap into that trauma. And so back to that line, most of us don't cross that line and do that, right? We don't. Narcissists have no line. So they will cross that line. And here's the other thing. You need to be very careful when you're dealing with a narcissist. And if you have any stories you'd like to share, let me know about this. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they will fucking punish you 10 times more. If you do something wrong, you confront them, whatever, that's why you got to run from a narcissist, because, they will burn your fucking house down. Maybe even literally. They have no concept of, it's like an eye for an eye, but times 10. So that's one of the dangers with dealing with these narcissists is maybe you fuck up, we all fuck up in situations, right? And we do something not great, but they will fucking drop a nuclear bomb on you because they have no filter. They have no line. It is it's weird, super weird. So if you're dating someone or you're married to somebody and they're just punishing you, what the hell, they burn your wedding pictures or something, or do something, just what the hell, disproportionate to the crime. It's a narcissist. That's a typical characteristic. So the last thing is that I want to talk about is, and I have a couple examples, is they have the core of who they really are is gone. That trauma has destroyed their essence of who they actually really are. And it's really sad. I have a lot of compassion for them as a person, though I won't date a narcissist when I realize that's what I'm dealing with. So basically, imagine they're in a room and all these mirrors are around them, right? Everything they're projecting out to the world is a false reality, and it's being reflected back to them. And then they believe that false reality because they're just in a room full of mirrors. There is no, sadly, there is no true person there at the core. It's all, they live in this fantasy world, like the Matrix. They never took the red pill. They can't. They take the blue pill. That's the fantasy. It's a fantasy. They just cannot even accept reality for what it is, even though it's facing them. And it's awful. And so you just need to know that remove yourself from a situation where you're convinced this person is a narcissist. And I'll share one last story. And thank you for hanging on this long. One last story is, so I was adopted. And at one point, my adoptive parents said, hey, there's this other kid playing football. I was older than him. So it was like a 5-year age difference or whatever. And he doesn't have a family. He's in a foster home. How would you feel about him being part of our life? And I said, you know what? I was adopted and I get his situation. Sure. So let's call him Mike. So things were fine for first few months. And then one time, so he was telling us about his birth mother and his alcoholic birth mother, and he doesn't have a relationship with his birth mother, and that his birth mother has brain cancer. She might die soon, and all of this. So I believed it. My parents believed it. And my parents at that time, maybe it was like 6 months by then or a year, asked me, look, how would you feel if we change our will and we leave something to him? And I'm like, okay, I like him. I saw him as a brother. And so what happened is, my father got the phone bill, and the phone bill was higher than normal. And he's like, what the fuck? So he looks at the phone bill, and he looks at the phone calls, and he sees a phone number specifically where all the hours were going to and why the phone bill was so high. And he's like, in Canada, this was Ottawa, Canada, where we were living. It was a Nova Scotia phone number, which is pretty far away. And so he's like, this is odd. So he comes to me and he says, Kane, have you been making phone calls to anyone in Nova Scotia? And I'm like, no. So then my father says to me, look, I have a suspicion. My suspicion is that his mother is still alive, or he's speaking to his mother, and I'm going to call her. But he didn't say anything to Mike. So he calls the phone number, and sure shit, the mother answers the phone, and the mother tells my parents that he's been lying for many, many years, not to trust him. He was stealing, by the way. We found out. My mother used to keep cash in her purse, and periodically she'd come up to me and say, maybe it's just me, but I had $300 in my purse. And I only have $260 and stuff like that. So stuff started going missing. And then, so he speaks to the mother, and the mother says, I don't have brain cancer. The reason why we actually don't speak is because of him. He's been lying. He's been manipulating. So my parents asked him to leave. He moved out. That's the end of it. So I just wanted to share that extra story about narcissists, and they have no empathy. They have they have the core of them is gone, and they will just manipulate and lie and ruin your fucking life. So run from that. And listen, man, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share your stories. And if you'd like me to do something else, I'll do something. And we'll see you next time.